Hello everyone and welcome to HSA 1102, Introduction to Healthcare. I want to welcome everyone, and for those of you who are currently working in the healthcare arena, this will be more of a refresher course. For those of you who have not worked in healthcare before, please take advantage of the information that your fellow students bring to the table with their experiences in healthcare, as well as the academic presentation that we'll be giving over the next 4 weeks. This is an overview of what it's like to be in healthcare and some of the things that you will have to incorporate into your professional lives as a healthcare professional. So with that, once you get into the classroom, what I suggest that you do is that you click on Meet Your Instructor. What that will do is that will give you a little information. There's a welcome video from me, as well as my pertinent information, as well as my email, my telephone numbers. I do provide a cell phone number. However, I do ask that you do not call after 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The best way to get a hold of me is through email. I check that quite often when I'm on the go, and I usually can answer that with my cell phone. So that's usually the best way. But if you need to talk to me, you can call me on my cell, and I'll call you back if I'm not available. If you want to call me at work, my hours are listed below. And then below that is a biography about me and my background as personally and academically. So take some time to read over that. Then you also have your syllabus, which is the contract between you and the university as to what's expected of you during this term. On the home page you'll find announcements, and I encourage you to log in at least once a day just to check the announcements, if nothing else, because as things happen I will be posting in there. Usually you'll receive an email as well. But this way you can get into the class, make sure that there's nothing new or something else that you have to look out for. It will also be a reminder of what's needed. Now, student resources really doesn't have anything in it, but if you go to program resources, you'll see APA. Now, what I will say about APA is that if you're not familiar with it, it can be overwhelming, and I don't want it to be overwhelming for you. However, it's something you will need to know during your program, as well as each class when you're writing. So it behooves you to get to know it now. So within this, there are several different resources to teach you about APA. There's an overview, there's a template of what a formal written paper would look like. There's also a PowerPoint guide, there's a sample completed paper, and APA, within APA guidelines. And on this one, you have references and citations. So if you look at this, and you'll see several different ways to cite and reference different types of sources. So in this case, you have a book with one author. Now your textbook is a book with 2 authors. So if you go to slide 6, it'll show you how to correctly reference and cite. And what that means is that if you're utilizing someone else's material, or their writings, their research, whatever it might be, to make your point, you need to be able to give them credit by citing that. That also tells your reader that you're utilizing their information to make your point. Then below that, there will be a reference that corresponds to that citation that tells your reader, if they want to know more, this is where they need to go to look for that information. It also provides credit for the authors who put a lot of time and effort into getting all this information together for you. So now, depending on what your source is, will depend on how you format your citation and your reference. So just go through this and look through it. You will need it for your formal written paper in week 1 and week 4, and you will also need it on your discussions. We'll get into discussions a little bit later, but what I want you to know about APA for that is that I do not require a title page, I do not require an abstract, and I do not require a separate reference page. What I do require is that you do cite your work. At minimum, it should be your textbook, because your discussions come from your textbook and you're utilizing that information, along with a reference below your discussion. but it doesn't have to be on a separate sheet of paper. And we'll get into that in a little bit. And then there's also a video on APA format and citations. The guy's voice is a little boring, but it's a good video to show you how to set up your paper and what's needed of you when you're drafting a formal written APA style paper. Now, in your discussions, each week you have a discussion. You've already started. You have already started your introductions, which is good. I'll be replying to those today. And then every week you have a discussion, and with that we require that I don't require that you start on Thursday, but I suggest that you start by Thursday because you are required to post at least 4 separate posts on 3 separate days. So however you want to break that up, as long as you have 4 separate posts on 3 separate days. And when we get to the grading rubric, I'll show you how that will work. But if you post 4 separate posts on 3 separate days, you will have met the requirement. If you want to exceed the requirement to get the maximum number of points for that, you would need to post above the required number of posts stated here. So in this case, you'd have to post at least 5 posts on 3 separate days to earn full credit. And I'll explain that when we get to the rubric. And so just so you know, every week you have that. So I'll get more into that as we go through the week 1 requirements. And then Kaiser Live. This is where you'll go to view the Kaiser Live session this evening. If you can make it for the live session, that's great. If not, then you can view it in the recorded session by going up to this section and going to recordings. And right now there are none because we haven't had a class. However, after tonight's class, that'll be listed as week 1 Kaiser Live, Introduction to Healthcare, so you can go in there and view the recorded session. Now, when you attend the Kaiser Live session, as long as you're participating and you're in the live session, you will get your 0.5 points extra credit. And if you attend all 4 classes, that can add up to 2 points. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it can make a difference between an A and a B. And I had a student this last term who was at like 88%. She attended all 4 sessions, and her grade went from a B to an A because of the extra credit. Now, if you're not able to attend the live session, then go ahead and review the recorded session and submit a summary as it states in week 1. Alright, now let's start here. This is where you should go ahead and go into Start Here, do your certification, click on True. This tells me that you're going to do your own work and not plagiarize or take somebody else's work. Take your pretest. I will not be able to grade your week 1 assignments until the pretest is done. And then introduce yourself to your fellow students and to me, and read your fellow students' introductions and respond to those as well. This will get used to you to the discussion section. And then there's some other sources in here as well. Real quick, let's go back to the program resources. I've also included some helpful tutorial videos on how to write your discussion in Word, which will help you with spelling and grammar so you don't lose points. How to upload your week 1 assignment when it's ready to be uploaded in week 2. How to submit your assignment to the OWL in week 1, which should be done by Sunday. We'll get into that. And how to upload. So I got that in there twice. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with what's expected for week 1. So week 1, you have your reading assignment, which is chapters 1 and 2, and that's your career in healthcare and current healthcare systems and trends. Then you also have your discussion questions. What they're asking you for week 1 discussion is chapter 1 discusses thinking like a professional in your own words. And when they say in your own words, based on what you've read for the week, tell me in your words, not what the authors have already told me. because if you write exactly what they told me, that's plagiarism. I want to know in your words what the book has told you, or what you gained from your reading. So in your own words, what does it mean to think like a healthcare professional? List several examples. Think of a time where you encountered someone, something, or unprofessional in a healthcare arena. While maintaining privacy, feel free to share the experience with the class. So what I need from you here is, when you look at the textbook in Chapter 1, there is a section on learning to think like a healthcare professional. There's a paragraph that's titled Learning to Think Like a Healthcare Professional. And they provide several examples. So provide me with at least 3 of those and tell me in your own words what that means to you and how you plan on incorporating that into your professional life. And then provide the unprofessional experience. Then your second response is review pages, table 2-1 on pages 39 through 45, the history of healthcare. After reviewing the historical events of healthcare, which 3 events do you feel were the most significant to healthcare in today's society? Which events do you feel are the most beneficial to patients? What are some current healthcare trends and challenges? So make sure that you're answering all these questions. And if you're not on the right track, I will respond to your discussion post and try to get you back on the right track by telling you, go back and review this paragraph and tell me what it says, or tell me what you feel. And then make sure that you're responding and reading and responding to your fellow students. It's great that you're responding to me, but I need to know what you feel about your students' comments. Do you disagree? Do you agree? And it's okay to disagree as long as you do it respectfully. Everybody will be respectful in the discussions, or I will have a one-on-one with you. So I have had not a problem with that. So just be respectful in your posts. Then you should be starting on your written assignment. Your written assignment is a problem-solving assignment based on the 5 steps that are listed on pages 32 through 34. For those of you who don't have the textbook because they're out of stock, I have provided you with the copies that you needed to answer your discussion post, as well as your get started on your written assignment. So again, you will need APA for this. You will need a title page, a separate title page. You will not need an abstract. You will need in-text citations within the body of your paper, as well as a separate reference page. So once you've written your paper and you have a rough draft, you want to send it to the OWL. And again, there's a video on how to upload your paper to the OWL. There's also a submission form involved that you have to fill out. Submit it to the OWL. The OWL will review it. Once you get it back from the OWL, you will make the suggested changes to your final draft. Then in week 2, you will upload it to the gradebook for grading. Now, it does no good to upload it to the OWL and get their suggestions if you don't make the changes. We had some problems with that last term. The whole reason you're doing it is to learn how to be a better writer and to have them make suggestions for a better paper. So by Sunday, you should be uploading your final draft to the OWL for review. Your paper should be double-spaced, Times New Roman, 12 pitch, and be at least 250 words so that you don't lose points. So with that, let me go ahead and go to, before I run out of time, I'm going to have 45 seconds. Alright, so I'll discuss the discussion rubric tonight in class, and then if you want to see it, then you can come to the live session, or you can view it here. And here's where I was talking about each post should be at least a minimum of 100 words. You should have a clear reference to the assignment. I will be looking to see if you answered the question thoroughly. And then contribution, how many posts did you post? Did you post 5 or above? The mechanics of the post. Alright, thank you.